Hey guys, this is Derek Duplessis, host of Purpose Rockstar. It's a podcast where we interview people who found purpose in their career in all kinds of fields. Today's interview is with David France, a good friend of mine. He is the top guy, the executive director for Revolution of Hope and the Roxbury Youth Orchestra. He went to the New England Conservatory and he learned about El Sistema, and it was just, love at first sight. He went over to Venezuela, saw the awesome work that was going on, teaching young children classical music. And he said that he could bring this to the inner city in Boston, in Roxbury. And it's just been incredible just to think about his journey, his story from a very small island in the Caribbean to, really making sacrifices to make his dream come true. So this guy would sleep on couches and he would sleep on the concrete here in the city. He would play in the subway, still plays in the subway to this day, just to make his dream come true. So I know you really, really enjoy this interview. I was on the verge of tears while I was conducting it. Purpose Rockstars, let's do this. David France, are you ready to rock?
Ready to rock.
Beautiful. Well, David, I just want to thank you for being on the show. This is a huge honor. What you're doing is really cool. We're going to get into that. We're going to go into a lightning round, and we're going to go through your journey. But before we do any of those things, I'd love to hear a meaningful quote from you.
Sure. Consider Christ. He was rich, but he became poor so that he might make many rich.
Beautiful. And what does that quote mean for you in your life?
Well, I think that quote turns the American dream, at least the understood version of the American dream, on its head. So I think the American dream is the inspiration to become rich for riches' sake. But this is this idea that the purpose of wealth, the purpose of riches, whether it's economic or whether it's educational or whether it's wisdom, the purpose of riches is to give it away to others so that your enjoyment of a thing becomes realized through the enjoyment of others, of their journey through your ability to help them out.
Beautiful. And, this podcast is basically in that vein. A lot of people will say, well, Derek, you run a nonprofit, you got to raise money, etc. Well, I want to live from a place of abundance because I feel like it's not that I have some type of lack. It's that I have a lot to give. And with that, I know that a lot of value will come back to me. So I think that really resonates with me, and hopefully that will resonate with all the Purpose rock stars that are listening to this show. What I want to do now is really get into your story, your journey. So take a few minutes and, take us from your humble beginnings to now you running a youth orchestra in Roxbury, Mass.
Well, I think my story starts before I was born. And so my parents are from this little island in the Caribbean called Nevis. It's associated with St. Kitts and Nevis. And when my father was growing up, he grew up in a poor village in Nevis. And his mother, every morning, used to give him like baked goods, like Johnny cakes. And she would give him these baked goods, and he would have to bring them around to the neighbors and say, hey, look, this is my mother made these for you. And he would give them away. And he said that my father would say the best part of his day was coming home and telling his mother all the thank yous from everyone in the community. So she was a poor woman, but she used her resources to help others. And my father, when he moved to this country, was the same way. So I was born in the United States. My parents came to the United States in pursuit of the American dream, on behalf of their born children and their unborn children. Myself, I wasn't born yet. And growing up, I saw my parents giving their lives away. I saw, growing up, I remember we lived in a 3-bedroom house eventually, and there were about 15 people living there because multiple families from the Caribbean moved to this country, and my family helped them out. So I was always seeing this really selfless examples in my life, and so I think I found my own version of the American dream through a free violin program. All my siblings, they all did sports. They ran track, and I was thinking, well, why run? So when I was able to, when I discovered music, when music was offered to me in a free violin program in elementary school, it really something resonated with me, and I really kind of ran with it. I wasn't really doing so well in school, but through music and just kind of seeing what it took to get better on an instrument, I subconsciously and then consciously applied those skills to academics. And so my handwriting got better, my math got better, my grades got better, my confidence got better. And so when that program ended in middle school, my teacher, she said, hey, you should go to the more prestigious prep school program. And so I did. And I got to tour with an orchestra, and I had all these wonderful experiences. But my mother, she realized that a little bit earlier than I did, was that they didn't really expect me to do much with the violin because I was black. And so I kept being passed off to lesser teachers. But I had this dream that I really wanted to achieve this goal of being a violinist, being a musician, because through music I was able to find my voice. And so I think one of the pinnacle experiences in my journey, in this particular journey, was in 2009. The website YouTube had their first ever international competition where anyone in the world could apply. And I thought, okay, all I have to do is practice more than everyone in the world. So I applied, and I couldn't believe it. I won. And when they sent us the list of the seating, my name had a star by it, and I thought, well, what's that star mean? And I looked to the key, and it turns out I was going to be one of the 5 concert masters of the orchestra, one of the leaders of the orchestra. So I was really excited. Told my parents that I didn't tell them that, but I told them that I was going to be in the orchestra. So my father has 19 brothers and sisters. My mother has 18, so we have 37 brothers, and I have 37 aunts and uncles. And so my parents filled up a van of as many aunts and uncles as they could fit in a van, and came down to Carnegie Hall where the concert was. And during one of the pieces, the lights dimmed, and when the lights came up, I was in the first chair. I was the concert master of that particular piece, and I really feel like that moment was a realization of my parents' American dream, that they could come from a poor country, and one of their children born in this country could lead an international orchestra at Carnegie Hall. And so that experience really inspired me. It showed me that if you really hold on to your dreams and keep working, that anything is possible.
There's more to that interview. Yeah, more. And you can find all of it at purposerockstar.com. Link is right there. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there. So it's really, really awesome that you can go to purposerockstar.com. If you're one of those on-the-go Apple people, you can check it out on iTunes. There's the link. And for my non-Apple people, I'm going to make sure there's a link on Stitcher somewhere next to me. So you got iTunes, Stitcher, and purposerockstar.com. Tell your friends, tell your family. We're on Twitter and Facebook, and somehow we'll be on LinkedIn. I don't know, but at least we'll be on Twitter and Facebook. And one final favor: pursue your purpose. It needs you.
I applied to a fellowship at the New England Conservatory, which is in conjunction with Venezuela and TED, and I won. I got to be one of the 10 people selected to be trained to bring this music for social change idea from Venezuela around the world.